basket looking like a wallet.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that's what he does.
It says we're up and running. Yeah, well, there we are. I'm looking thin.
Dude, no,
Sam's looking bearded. Wayne's looking red. We are good.
I'm old and broken.
All right, I have this thing up here somewhere with the shit on it,
Shizzle.
and I lost it. Where did I put it? Anybody know?
You know,
Anybody seen it?
Which one?
There it is.
you do the thing with the deal.
I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put this up here. And then I'm going to put this back over here. Okay. Guys, what we want to talk about tonight is some grading, some of the garbage that's been going on, and some of the garbage that exists. Wayne brought over a few, slabs that you can trust, so to say. I'm guessing they're not getting, a lot of those smaller companies have been claimed that they were trimming cards.
I bet they did.
But what we want to talk about, and pretty soon I think there'll be a few guys on, is PSA, PWCC, Beckett, SGC.
Turns out nobody's above the law.
And the horse shit they're going.
Yeah. They're all at fault.
So hopefully, it says YouTube's live and everything. Yeah.
Good.
So we'll get going. I wanted to post some things quick. Like, for example, some of the work that's going on in...
Well, we know there's been counterfeiting that's been going on since forever.
Yes.
When
That's
stuff
not
gets
new.
Slapped, when counterfeited stuff gets slapped, and then there's a rash of really good cards that show up online. And...
Guys, this is the main focus of the evening. Right here. As you can see. Oh, I got to bump it another couple. This is the stuff we're talking about. So you got a 52 mantle.
It's been handled.
And it was authentic. A guy scouted this out with print dots and match dots. They matched the back. So it was bought as authentic. It was conserved. That's the word they're using.
That's the word they're using.
Conserved.
Preserving is what they should.
And they took it and they made it a 4.5. So what is going on in the grading industry now is some cat bought that for $4,500 or $8,000 or $9,000, and he turned that $9,000 into $20,000, 4.5. There's another example of 52 mantles right here, where this card's been touched up, so to say. Right? Is that the word we want?
Well, there's been some
There's
fabrication.
been some adjustments made.
Yeah.
So this example is, the guy only squeaked out a half. But this isn't the only thing going on. This thread is from Blowout Cards thread, and you can see it's huge. I have another one up here. The other stuff going on right now is there's talk of favoritive grading. This is a 81 card submission, and this is all 10s and black labels. And as we know, 10s and black labels are ghost town. They're hard to get. We can get a 9.5 at best.
Yeah. From
Beckett. And this fella here, there he goes. 81 cards, and they're all flawless, supposedly. So I do know there are people out there with better eyes than I have, because I can't see shit. But are there people out there that can pick 81 cards out, send them in, and be perfect on the submission? Nah, I call bullshit.
Yeah.
And this thread here on Blowout is enormous as well. So if you guys are not up to date on this, go to the Blowout forums. Here's another one. Black labels. This is they're calling that there is favoritism being played here. Again,
well, it's distortion because they're obviously these cards are not all mint. Well, they might be mint, but they are not gem mints, and they shouldn't be graded as such.
No, and that's what this whole forum listing, and there's 116 pages on this chat, and their claim is this is favoritism.
Now, when you send something in, do you want to make sure your fingerprint's not on it? Yeah. But again, you can't take a paint dot out of the mix. How do you get that off of there? You don't. These guys are doing it.
Hey Nate, hey Drew, hey April. We're talking this grading scandal that's going on. You can't avoid it. You can't miss it. You're supposed to trust PSA, and PSA is taking a shit on you to really clean it up and, dress it up. But Beckett released a statement, and I will read it. Here it is. Let's see.
St. Louis.
Tie game.
Right here. Collectors submit cards to Beckett Grading Services for an opinion on condition and authenticity. If a card measure up appears authentic, no visible signs of alteration, we put a grade on that card. This grade is a formulation from our opinion. Some people in the industry do their best to deceive collectors. Our job is to limit that. So that's Beckett's cop-out. We do our best.
Yeah, we're trying.
And that's great,
but
right?
We're busy because we have your cards for how many months?
Yeah, but they claim.
Can I freshen that up for you?
Appreciate it.
They claim that they're just out here doing a half-ass job or whatever.
Turns out they are.
And they are. And that's fine, but we as collectors and a lot of the PSA freaks, as we know, have claimed that it's the Bible. It's the end all be all. It's where it's at. And it's not. It's what has come to light and shown is that these grading companies are suspect of fraud, like everything else. One auctioneer has come under fire because of it. One company we know, pwcc, the biggest. I think they're the biggest card seller on eBay.
Probably.
And he's in the mix of it. So if you've got pwcc cards, I mean, you want to check the cert list. There's big cert lists online, and they're hundreds of cards. But this dude's been shaving 1/64th off, or conserving it.
That's some precision instrumentation right there to do that.
Hey, Mike Fox, we are talking about the grading situation.
Reach around. Save.
No goal.
And what's going on.
So after review, they didn't get a goal?
They didn't have to. Apparently, the ref saw it the whole time.
So I have another thread. Let's see. Is this that's the Beckett 52 Manels. SGC, the guy's name is Mosier that's trimming these, and it looks like every company has been hit. I know PSA's stock price was hit pretty hard there for a couple days. But then it brings into light, what is going on with these preferential treatments. For example, the big companies, one that we love to talk about here is
Our favorite.
4 Sharp Corners. So they're grading 5,000-10,000 cards a month. And are they getting a preferential bump? Now that we've exposed that PSA can slip up, and PSA claims that there's 2 graders looking over the card, is a big company like 4 Sharp getting a nod at a touch higher grade?
Seems like they've been doing it forever.
Yeah, well, we see
you see stuff that there's obvious flaw.
And so Troy brings up the big point. So is it worth getting cards graded? Still. I still think it is.
It is if you're looking for financial gain from them.
Right. I don't think that's going away.
Or if you want to set your value, it's not going away, but it's going to be at a reduced rate. I'm thinking so many cards. Well, look at the forgeries that went through. When there were so many forgeries of autographs. Once they got that handled, now it's you've got to have people present to see them sign.
Right, but now there was an autograph scandal with SGC passing a bunch of bad autographs back in the day, then SGC removed themselves from the autograph authentication deal. That cat is the dude from, oh man, was it CSA or whatever that sat up from us from the National? Remember first Chicago National, and that dude sat there, nobody got named.
Nobody.
That was an autograph authenticator. So, and he's pretty good. But I think the value of graded cards is still important. But I think you need to look at the card. Like, I'm not going to buy any graded cards now on eBay, because what I can do if I buy a graded card at the show is I can take a micrometer and I can scale it myself. Kurt and I avoided buying. A gentleman came down. He had, I don't know if you've seen him, 55, like the double folded deal. I don't know what the fuck they're called. Double plays. 1955 double plays. And every one of them was trimmed. We got the micrometer out, measured them. They're not what they're supposed to be. They're all an 1/8 inch short. Well, that guy got over aggressive and you could see the 1/8 inch.
Yeah. Well, he knew he got screwed.
But
I was just trying to pass him off.
Yeah, I think the value will always be there. But I think now, more than ever, you have to buy the card, not the grade. Yeah. You have to, you know, 1 might be better than a 1.5. Obviously, a BGS 9.5 could be better than a 10. I know we've had 9s that are way better than 4 sharp 10s.
It would appear so.
We've seen them on here.
Yep.
PSA says on their grading process, a series of PSA graders review your cards. If genuine PSA looks for evidence or doctoring or recoloring or trimming, if your cards pass the 2-step process, PSA experts grade the condition on a scale of 1 to 10, then hold your card. A series of graders miss these trimmings and miss these doctorings.
A series, it's kind of like plural. It probably just means 2.
Well, that brings the other question. Are the big boys, like PWCC, is there a series of graders looking at their cards? Or is it a dude who takes PWCC cards and he's been assigned to them because they submitted so many? Is he getting money under the table? I mean, how many things are you getting in here that this group of cards had to get past this many people?
You would hope that in any stage of management or whatever, that the seriously high graded vintage cards, the new ones, I don't know how you can even tell. You know what? Unless you're looking for little paint imperfections in the borders and that type of thing. But the old stuff, I mean, all your major star rookie cards and second-year cards, they've got to be looked at by somebody in upper management before they go on. I don't care if the guy doesn't get to go on vacation, 6 weeks a year like I do. He probably needs to sit there and see every single one that goes through. That's going to get anything over a 9 in vintage, back in the 50s and beyond.
I mean, what are you buying?
And
then both these companies, the 2 biggest ones in the scandal right now are PWCC and PSA. And both of them have come out and said, well, calm down, we didn't know.
They had to know.
Somebody knew.
It's the same hush thing that you get in trading on Wall Street and everywhere you go, there's some hush.
It just, there's a PSA or PWCC saying they're very aware about these cards this Gary Mosier submitted to them.
I think you said Chad Mosier the first.
Yeah, I did say Chad. But Gary Mosier submitted these cards. Well, this Gary Mosier couldn't submit cards to PSA on his own. He was prevented because of trimmed cards. Well, then he submitted them to PWCC to submit them, and the guy was a well-known trimmer. So they obviously knew what they were sending in. Well, that's fraud. It says so in PSA's deal. You can't knowingly submit trimmed cards. Yep. Well,
so
when you're doing it...
So he'll be banned from getting anything graded again under his auspices.
And here's PSA claims that they don't know who submits the cards they're grading. Well, but we have to expect they do, right? Because the amount of volume they take in, how can they not? And the process they just claimed a series of graders.
Yeah.
How can they not? How can they turn 5 to 10,000 out so fast for 4 sharp if the one guy is not doing just their cards?
Somebody has to keep track of the process of whether the guy's sitting at a desk or whatever he's at, and he's got to know under what serial number these are going to go for that particular.
You got to know.
Yeah.
I mean, if these people can figure out that pwcc submitted X set of serial numbers through a little work, then I'm guessing everybody else can, because I'm going to be honest. I mean, I know some guys that are pretty good at finding shit, but they're not that good.
So, okay, so here's the thing. If you want something to be sent in to be, regraded, you have to crack it, right?
No, you don't.
That's the
Can.
issue.
So then they know that cert number.
Right.
So then here's another question somebody asked.
So how do you...
On all this stuff going on, has our preferred grader changed? Well, I've been a huge fan of Beckett this whole time. Well then, but Beckett with this Joe Clemens, where this Joe Clemens is getting all these 10s, and he has the highest percentage of 10s you've ever seen. You see the shit he submits, and it is nuts.
Yeah.
Dude gets 10s, and that's what he gets. Well, nobody's that good. Nobody.
Can't be.
Out of the hundreds of cards we've submitted, we have yet to get a Beckett 10. Not one. A couple 9.5s. Not one Beckett 10. This dude submits 80 for 80? Oh, that's tough. That's tough.
Hard to understand.
But my preferred grader is still Beckett. And I like SGC. They got really cool slabs. They're the all black border ones.
Yeah, they
I
are
like
nice.
them. I really do.
They are nice.
I don't like PSA, but I've never liked PSA because of the bullshit that we've always suspected.
Yeah. Well, when they went to the partial grades and you go to, you thought you had a mint card. Well, you've got to have a gem mint card, or else you don't get the top dollar. But again, it has distorted the hobby, because clearly, you having one card of every card in the set, does that make
That's not the thing anymore.
That has nothing to do
It's the
with
thing if you're on that PSA registry.
If you're registered.
And I think that's still the number one thing that PSA is carrying them with. The PSA carries themselves by having that sweet ass set registry.
Yeah.
That somebody can say I'm better than Kurt Christensen at collecting Harmon Killebrew, except for there's no one. There's no one
Nobody
that
can touch that. But,
and that's what it is. So for resale, people don't care about PSA more than others. I still think PSA carries their resale weight.
They do.
And I think having that set registry helps. But SGC ran a promotion where it was like $8 to switch your slabs from PSA to SGC.
Yeah.
And they slabbed a shitload of stuff. A ton of it. And my call is, if PSA or if SGC is positioned right now, they can cut a chunk of market off of PSA. Are they perfect?
They're primed for it, but they're not.
Do they have some of these cards from this Mosier? Yeah.
Probably.
But not the amount.
It's just.
But for the standard person,
makes us sick.
Does it hurt us? For the standard person, does it hurt you and me?
No.
Does it hurt what we do here?
No.
No. All the cards that we pull, I've got video of pulling them.
They're authentic. The trouble is
they're OC.
Yeah, they're OC like a son of a gun. It happens a lot.
But this is why I like what we're doing compared to what, like, I'm just going to go buy a PSA graded card. I still don't feel great that PSA slabbed that card. PSA says it's a 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jim at PSA, Jim Grader, who says he knows what the hell he's doing? Yeah. PSA says he knows what he's doing.
He's probably got 2 minutes to grade that card. He's got a quarter
I think
to meet.
Lewis did the math, and it's like 90 seconds. They take millions of cards in a year. Yeah. And they have 23 actual graders that put the number on. I don't know how you can have 23 experts and still have a series of graders.
23 people look at that card?
No, that's their experts. That's their 1 to 10
You mean somebody
guys.
that? Oh, okay.
But I'm guessing there's a series of, hobos they picked up in San Francisco that say the cards are clean.
But do you suppose there's, and we'd have to investigate this end of it. if a card's a 10, does it see an extra guy or just does it stay a 10?
Fuck it, it's a 10 slab.
Yeah.
Are they looking at every one of the 5,000 cards 4Sharp sends in, or they weren't looking at 500 of those and saying, looks like there's a lot of 10s here, slap them up.
No.
You know, that's what it is. Let's see, the issue is still people doing, yeah, there is mistakes. I think, and I talked to a guy about this, that they need to look at computer grading.
Computer strike zone.
Throw up the computer size.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Throw up, you know, a computer's got a template that's a rectangle, puts it on the card when you lay it in front of it, and it sees this corner's rounded and this one, you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, you could, like I suppose a computer you can set up just to catch anything.
It should be able to scan it.
Obviously, centering would be the biggest one.
Well, that's where
to the naked eye, when you're looking at your card, you're going, man, I really want this card to be centered. And you know what? Almost all the time, it's off.
How many cards have we pulled here that are just not quite centered?
Yeah. Not top and bottom.
But
not front to back.
Yeah, Mark, I agree. There is a way, and there is an easy way to do it by a computer that can detect flaws.
Well, we don't get the micrometer out either.
But if we're going to avoid PSA, we're going to avoid Beckett, and we're going to avoid SGC, what do we got, Wayne? What do you got back there? Let's see some other companies. Show me that Jim's grading service, Tiger Woods.
Where'd those go? Oh, here they are. Yeah, you can hire your own grading.
So you can have Mo grade your card at
Mint Company.
At grading. Mint Company grading.
I'm sure there's several.
Or you can have, the most recent homeless dude they moved in grade your card there at advancedgrading.com.
And I think some of those, nobody's going to put any.
Nobody puts stock in what's in this. No. They look at that card and say, well, it's OC. That corner's touched. There's some shittle down here. How the hell to get a 9?
Yeah.
Or they look at Danny Marino here and say,
that can't be a 10.
That's not perfect. So, Jim and Bob's grading service are never going to get the weight.
These are what, 10, 15-year-old cards. So grading services where you pretty much just sign up for one, get your trademark, and off you go.
I think we'll see a big move to tech grading.
It's got to come about.
I think they're still going to... it should increase the speed. I mean...
It should.
The computer should be able to zoop. Nope.
Yeah.
This meets... Or it has a flaw, and then maybe...
So all the stuff that's already slabbed, what happens to that?
Michael, you have to buy with care, with extreme caution, with extreme
discretion. You
have to
know your buyer.
That card's not right. They put it in these slabs, and the
price
slabs
too good to be true.
Do I got an 85 Puckett over there? It's under the 85 Clemens. I think I got a slabbed 85 Puckett. Right?
Johnny Bench.
Yeah, give me that. So Johnny Bench here is a 9. I know that's a good card because you know where it came from? One of the packs here. And this card fits. When you say, that's relatively tight in their edges, right?
Really good.
Yeah. So when I'm buying this card, this is in the holder. This holder's made for this size card. Well, if I buy a 78 Topps card and it doesn't fit the holder quite right, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And there's, 33 Gaudis out there and 51 Bowmans, and they're not. You hold it next to another one and you say, one of these is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's the smaller one. And for more example, that Puckett is in there and it's tight to the edges. Hey, Luke, the Rivera is in here and it's
so perfect.
These cards are made to fit in here. There's a Beckett and they're a little looser. That card's in it like a fucking penny sleeve. But you can see this 85 Tops card compared to this 85 Tops card, they line up. You know, I mean, you can do some checking yourself and verify that this shit is right. But I think part of it that's really screwing people over is everything's online. Joe Schmo eBay dealer, PWCC had this huge reputation. People paid up through the roof to buy shit from him.
Because it was gold.
Yeah, because my name's on it. I'm PWCC.
It's certified as being legit and correct.
And then you find out it's garbage.
It's just
It's
the same
fucking
stuff
garbage.
We could grade it. That's a fickle deal.
Yeah, I think the card community needs to push now. Now that there's investigation, the FBI has been running around for fraud charges. I mean, they're in the millions here, and I think the grading community, the card community, the guys buying these cards need to push and say, if you want our business, you need to get rid of this shit. You need to cut out your backdoor deals.
Yep.
You need to cut out your only one graders grade PWCC shit because he sets in gold. You need to throw this shit out.
Yeah.
Luke, the recoloring issues depends how they're done, man. They show up in various ways. But these guys that are doing this, I mean, there's guys out there that remaster paintings, masterpieces, touch them up. Well, touching up a fucking card ain't shit.
No,
you know what I mean?
Shouldn't be tough for them.
They can do that. They can figure it out. They can understand. And they're going to get it to pass.
It's like the guys that were forging autographs. So good.
Yeah.
You're so good.
You nowadays, with the ability that everything can be forged, the computer has made it where it can print and make it look old.
It can money.
Yeah, so you have to analyze all this shit when you buy something now.
Yeah.
I like buying raw cards. I like to hold up a 58 Topps card next to a 58 Topps card and say they're the same. Or I want to look at that edge and say that's a fresh pinched edge. Shouldn't be. It should have a little bit of a you know what I'm saying? It should look like a 58 Topps card. It should have that. It should smell. It should have that I don't know if must is the right word.
You don't get to really measure the thickness either
Yeah.
because you don't know if that card was counterfeited. But once it gets slabbed, you're really at the mercy.
You think it's real.
Yeah.
And that's how they're screwing you.
The problem is whatever's going to happen on a small scale is if you're dealing a card that you've got and you just go, you know what, I want to get my value out of that card. I'm done with it. And then the guy comes back and says it's not real.
Well, PSA has claimed that they're going to try to acquire these back.
Yeah.
You know, they fixed that one Honus Wagner card that they had overgraded because it was miscut. You know, they've tried to do some things, but I think they only do these things when they're saving face. They're not going to go out of their way and make things right.
No.
And I think they're shady as shit. I really do.
Well, it's tough because they got the rep and then now it's a little tarnished. It'll take some time.
Personally, if I have something to send in personally, I'm still sending Modern to Beckett, but I'm going to start sending my older shit to SGC. Yeah. They're less affected by this. They're a smaller company. They seem to carry way less bullshit. You know.
Well, we thought PSA was that way at the beginning.
Well, look at PSA. So the great example is the Ruth, the 1927 Ruth. Got it slabbed at the National. It's a 5. No other 5s. And there's only 20 some graded, you know. And then all of a sudden the next day, boom, there's another 5. Well, I'm going to tell you what, another 5 didn't walk in the door. And it wasn't graded at the National because that's the only one they had there. Yeah. Joe Blow called Joe Orlando and said, I need a 5. I've got a 4.
Yeah.
He got his 5.
So here's the problem is, and you can't, I mean, you got to pay to put things on the registry, right?
No, you can load your cert. I know Bill has a registry for like T206. Kurt's got the Harmon. Jason Wheel has packs. Packs have been fake.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yep.
Bad stars on top, all that bullshit. We know that exists, and that's kind of a hush-hush deal.
Yep.
So, where do you draw the line on what you're doing?
Well, if you've got it registered, and then all of a sudden there's one less. I mean, on that registry, there was one less Ruth 4, and there was a 5 the next day. The 4 didn't still exist, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See that?
It miraculously showed up.
Yeah.
So, and
That's
on
really
a
bad.
card like that, you know the odds when they only have 23-ish graded, the odds of another one coming in at the exact same time yours came in.
Yeah.
Astronomical. Astronomical. And I call bullshit. I want to see that other 5.
Yeah.
I know where the other one is. It's about 25 miles that way.
Yeah.
In a house, hanging out. I know where it is. I can walk there. I can walk in. Hey, you still got Babe Ruth? Yep, here he is. But the other one I haven't seen. There's the picture in the dude's set registry is the back of the card.
Really?
Yeah.
That's because he's probably got flaws you can pick up on the front.
It's because it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's fabrication.
It's bullshit.
If you ever saw the front of the card, you probably noticed a flaw, and it's not going to be on this one.
And you know, you suspect PSA's involved because of upcharging the grade. So on that Ruth, we
They make
paid
their money.
$100
Yeah.
some dollars to get it graded, and then they wouldn't give me my card. They didn't email us. I went there and I said, "Where the hell is my card? It's been 3 days." Oh, we have to get you to talk to somebody. Well, what happened to my card? Guy comes out, and your card graded higher than you expected. You owe us $250. So PSA has an incentive to get that higher grade too,
Graded higher.
because when they slab a 52 mantle, it costs, they get X dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And if they slab a 1
That's
to a
just
one
been
and a
the
half,
last few years too.
it's gotten worse.
When did they?
It used to be a straight $45 at the National. Done, $45. And they're upcharging. So what's their incentive for a higher graded card? They are actually telling you to do this by saying you're paying for your grade.
You're promoting a chance at fraud.
Yeah, want this to happen, and then PSA sales values are driving this too. And it's 100% horseshit. So my overall take from it though is be wary of what you're buying. Analyze every card you purchase and watch those internet sales. I think the easiest way to get screwed over in cards right now is buying shit on the internet.
Yep.
Go to the National, go to your card shows locally, go to your local card shops, buy the card in hand, compare it, take your 1978 with you.
Take your guy that can grade with you.
Set it there.
It's just
take
like
your buddy.
It's just like your mechanic. You're gonna buy a used car. Guess what?
Take your micrometer and measure the edges. Verify that it's a 60, 40, 10 or a 35.
Yeah.
Verify that it meets the qualifications and it's not bullshit. I think you're going to see more people doing their homework.
I would hope so. But so many guys are buying to flip.
Well, he brought up Trout 10s. There's a dude in Spencer. No, he lives not in town, but he bought a Trout 10 and had a fiddle fucked corner. He pressed it, sent it in, and got a 10. Wow. So I know the guy. He pressed it. He admits to pressing it. Got a 10. So he took a $250 card, made it a $1,000 card. By technically altering the card.
Yep.
So you really need to look at stuff.
I mean, all of us look at our cards when we're putting them in sleeves and go, is that card going to cut it for me? Well, is it worth sleeving?
Yeah.
And we can't take the creases out. We can't, some packs have been handled.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Well, like we had an 83 Joe Montana come out of the middle of a pack, creased the other day, and every other card in the pack was perfect. But Joe Montana dead center was creased. So that I get happens. But this shit that's going on now shouldn't happen.
That's really hurts the hobby.
They are going to have to answer to everybody, but I think they're coming out of it clean overall. I think they're coming out of it unscathed. I think they're going to do some reworking bullshit. We reorganized the company, and it's going to be some new BS.
They'll announce that somebody got fired or whatever, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah. Or there's, we got a new CEO. The other guy wasn't watching. Or, sorry, we passed all those fraudulent Michael Jordan rookies. PSA has a shitload of them.
Yeah.
Fakes. Their graders weren't good enough to see it. But you can go on eBay and look at them. Stock dip was a $4 million slide in PSA. They were down 7% one day, I believe. But I think Mark's right. I think it's just the tip. I think we're seeing just the start. I think they're going to find preferential grading. I think they're going to find like this Joe Clemens is buying his grades. I think he knows the grader. I think he's paying some cash.
Yeah.
I think there's money changing hands. And I think every company comes out of this with a little bit of a blemish. And I think the repositioning happens with who has less shit.
Yeah.
And right now, SGC looks clean. Cleaner.
Yeah.
PSA looks like shit. PWCC looks like shit. Beckett's starting to look like shit. And I fucking love Beckett.
Yeah.
But they look like shit right now.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So what's going to happen, I guess? CU's already spinning this. Stock bounced back up. And they're going to want this as a private audit. Private audit.
It means they're going to audit themselves. Keep it in-house.
I think it's something you got to look for. I mean, when we send shit in, I'm not a professional grader, but I will not send something in unless I think it's really, really damn good.
Well, we can usually find the obvious flaw, but as long as there's only one, we might think we still have, 8.5.
Well, yeah, like Eric, again, Eric Davis, 8.5. Eric Davis.
We loved that card going in, didn't we?
Centering 9, edges 9.5, corners 9.5, surface an 8. Like, what did I miss?
There's nothing you can tell now because it's slabs. You can't tell what imperfection on surface.
So, it's something there, and I still think grading has a place, but I encourage people that want, especially 80s shit, late 70s, 80s, buy it from a trusted place, buy it fresh, buy it packed fresh. Know what you're getting. I don't think the 80s are as bad because the profit margin's not there to go ahead and trim a lot of shit.
There's not a lot.
But I think you'll see it move that way. Yeah. I just...
Well, that one guy's page had a bunch of that Bowman's Best on there.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you have to think what are you looking for in there?
I think you've got some negatives. I can't wait to see the National. Is the PwCC booth going to be a bunch of picketers? I mean, what's going to be there?
Possible.
Are they even going to show up? Does he still show up? I mean, that dude is in trouble.
Yeah.
That's blatant fraud that you sent those cards in.
Yeah, they're going to be.
That's trouble.
Yeah. Maybe they'll clean house.
Is PSA going to be ass deep in lines? I'm not going to stand in line there.
No.
Is Beckett going to be ass deep in lines? I don't know. I think there's less grading. Crossover special, it is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it crosses above the grade, they upcharge. And all the companies do the upcharge.
Yeah.
But I really like SGC slabs. They're fucking amazing. And they added a 9.5 now. Something again.
Yeah.
PSA refuses to offer.
Yep.
The 9.5. Beckett's got one. SGC's got one. PSA dragging ass.
They're standing by what they got them there.
guys, I encourage every one of you to go to the Blowout forums. Like I said, there's 116 pages of shit there. Go to, that's the Beckett one. There's a PSA one. Google it. Read the shit these companies are putting out. Their statements are garbage. Their statements are...
Well, pour through it and make your own assessment. But
yeah,
it's not great. It's not
do
great
some
job.
analyzing, and if you feel PSA is screwing you over, show it by your money. Spend your money on Beckett. Spend your money on SGC. If you think Beckett's screwing you, spend your money somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think you all need to push on these companies. And the thing is, they run a business that is relied 110% on card submissions. I mean, this is all they got. So by taking your submission and moving it to another company, it's the same as if my boss Ron went to Case and said, I want to drive some red, and moved all his tractors into red. He just made a big statement and said, I like your shit. I like your stuff. Case, thanks.
Yeah.
So do the same with your cards. If you don't like PSA anymore because you think they're shady as hell, take your stack of PSA shit, have SGC cross it over, and make your statement. But guys, go read, go out there, and I mean, I asked you when you got here, you didn't realize it was this big, but
no,
go to the Blowout
we knew
forums
it
and
was
just
going
read
on,
it.
but
Just scroll through it, and there is some stuff there.
The worst thing is it had been not accepted but tolerated.
Yeah, you had to know what was going on.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was this big. And there's some dudes on those Blowout forums that have done their work.
Yeah.
They've circled dots. They pinpointed stuff. Again, I encourage everyone to go look at it. Read it. Make your decisions. And buy accordingly.
Yeah.
Be safe when you're buying shit. I'll toot our own horn. All of our shit's packed fresh. But in a negative, Kurt and I half opened 89 Donruss and sent a Griffey in, and they said it was trimmed. Straight out of the pack. So I don't know how the hell you trimmed it inside that wax, but
it was trimmed at the factory. That's all we know.
And as soon as I got that card back, I understood that there was issues. So, guys, this is just an informative deal tonight. Go look. Go see it.
Don't be afraid, but be aware.
Read the forums. Go to Blowout Cards. Get on the forums. I don't have to read all 116 pages because holy shit, but read them.
20 after tonight.
Take a look at what these guys are looking at, and do your homework. They have cert lists on the PSA cards. They have the black labels that this Joe Clemens guy's getting. They're certified lists of these. Do your homework and don't buy the garbage. Yeah. And watch for shit that was purchased at PWCC. I hate throwing them under the bus, but they're linked to a lot of these.
They're in on it too.
So if you've got something that you can look that cert up, VCP will show the cert number and the sale. Look that cert up, and if it's on their list, be wary of what you're buying. So guys, be safe out there. Next Thursday's Rip is up, 1982 Fleer vending. Last time we had a hell of a good time with it.
Yeah. 3
Ripkins. One was insane. It should be back pretty soon. It's in that same sub as Boblett's Terry Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that was a nice card. But other than that, guys, safe buying. And just pay attention to what you're doing out there. See ya.
Good night.